Pop quiz hotshot. What do you get when you have the greatest actor of all time celebrating his 60th birthday the same year of the 30th anniversary of the greatest film of all time that he happened to be the star of?
You reference it in one of the greatest video game movies of all time that came out right before lockdown. That's what you do.
Yeah. Yes, we're here to discuss Speed, the greatest film of all time. And yes, given the fact that my two most favorite films of all time, Speed and The Mask, have Keanu and Jim, and they're together at last on screen in the third installment of the greatest video game movie adaptations of all time. God damn it.
You are excited for this. I can already tell.
Okay. To be fair, Keanu and Jim were in another movie together in the past, but they were never on screen together. So it's like, do we count it? But here it's like, that Gerald and Shadow are going to be together on screen. You know that Eggman and Shadow are going to be on screen together. Eggman, played by Jim Carrey. Shadow, played by Keanu Reeves. Let's go.
You got Jack Traven and the Riddler in one movie.
You got Jack Traven and Stanley Yipkiss in one movie together.
No. You got the Grinch and Neo in one movie.
Whoa.
You got John Constantine and the star of You, Me, and Irene in one movie.
You got the star of a Babe in Toyland with the star of In Living Color, whose last name isn't Wayne.
You got the best part of Parenthood and the Truman Show in one movie.
Yeah, you got half of Devil's Advocate with half of. And half of Eternal Sunshine together. You got 23 and the one.
You got the alien from The Day the Earth Stood Still and Scrooge in one movie.
What's it called? God damn it. You got the leader of the team from Kick-Ass 2 with the male lead of the movie Siberia. Hello, Mother Russia.
Oh, you got the elephant from Horton Hears a Hoot with the haystack from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie 2.
He's not a haystack. He's a sage. Put some respect on that wisdom. There you go. There you go.
I got you.
We're going to go at this all night, aren't we?
Anyway, I'm Leo. This is Mike. Welcome to the Buttery Show. And in honor of the Sonic Hedgehog 3 trailer dropping, the 60th anniversary, and then the 60th birthday of Keanu Reeves, and the 30th anniversary of Speed, we're reviewing not just this movie, but probably next week.
Six movies this month. And the theme of these 6 movies, awesome films with lackluster sequels. And to clarify, before this guy is about to go off, I'm not necessarily saying the sequels are bad as much as I'm saying they just weren't as good as the first installment. We're carefully defining our terms before this guy starts defending the next movie we're going to be doing after this movie. Yes, that's right. Next week our next review after this film will be Cruise Control. I'm just calling it Cruise Control for reasons I'll explain while we review Cruise Control. But for now, let's get into the greatest film that was ever written and ever done.
Speed is a 1994 American action thriller film directed by John D. Bont.
John DeBon.
John DeBont.
Jan DeBont.
I'm gonna keep it. Jan
DeBont.
Jan DeBont.
Yeah.
There you go. Jan DeBont. Put some respect on his name.
Is Deutsch.
Okay.
Is he Deutsch? Is he Deutsch?
Feature directorial.
Oh no, he's Dutch. He's not Deutsch. He's Dutch. Okay.
He's Dutch.
Very close. They both make a yes sound in for the letter J. So like, excuse my poor grammar.
You're good. Jan de Bont, in his feature directorial debut from the screenplay by Graham Yost, starring your boy Keanu Reeves, my boy Big G Dennis Hopper,
representing the real OGs.
And Jeff Daniels. It revolves around a bus that is rigged by an extortionist to explode if its speed falls below 50 miles per hour. And
in LA traffic.
And for the math geniuses, 80 kilometers per hour or 22.35 m-/s. I'm not good
meters per second.
There you go, meters per second. Where do we even begin with this movie? So
let's start with how we first watched the movie.
Yeah.
For me,
this is your movie, so you go first.
For me, illegal VHS tape, like almost everything I've watched when I was a kid. Okay, we're from the Soviet Union. There's no concept of copyright law. Then when we came to America, we knew other people from former Soviet countries that kept the same practices from the old country, or 15 countries, because not everyone's from the same country.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the first American film I've ever seen my entire life was The Mask, but in the old country, and it was dubbed in Russian, and I will go into that whenever we ever decide to do The Mask. But the first movie I ever saw here in the United States was, in fact, Speed. Saw it on a VHS tape. Can't remember if it was a legal copy I borrowed from a neighbor or an illegal copy that was transcribed onto a VHS tape. But I was in love with this film. Like my two most favorite things of all time are Speed and Power Rangers, and both of those ignited my passion for stunt choreography. As many of you may know, I have a background in stunt choreography since high school, and I follow it to this very day, to the point that I'm anally nitpicking every single choreographical error in every movie I've seen. And a certain movie that came out a few weeks ago,
Darby Allin the movie.
Darby Allin the movie, that's right. All right, and let me tell you, even as a 3-year-old, I had this toy Hot Cheetos truck, and I pretended it was the 2525 Venice bus, and I would use blocks to recreate the Gap sequence using that Hot Cheetos truck. Actually, no, it wasn't Hot Cheetos. It was just regular Cheetos, because Hot Cheetos didn't exist for another 2 years. And boy, did I have fun with the character. And yes, the first few sentences I've ever learned to say was, "I'm Jack Traven, LAPD, there's a bomb." I got kicked out of the Metro bus twice for quoting that movie.
Wow.
I was 3. Yeah. And my very first F-bomb was because of the F-bombs in this movie. Jack says the F word a lot in this film, and that's how I learned to say the F word.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Alan Ruck, indeed.
We'll talk about the supporting cast when we get into it.
Yeah, and of course, my passion for this film only grew as I learned more about the behind the scenes of the film and noticing more intricate details that I did not quite catch in in my earlier viewings as a child. And one thing I really appreciate is that one time on my birthday, I think it was 2018, because I was severely ill at the time, as you know. I remember one of my favorite things on that, like my family came to my house and set up a scavenger hunt for me. There's like this, so basically my entire house turned into a giant escape room, and there was there was like a 6-letter password for like one of the clues, and the clue was Mike has always believed in justice. It was inspired by a certain LAPD officer who knows how to catch a ride when he in LA traffic. So naturally, the password was TRAVEN. And then 2019, I actually went full circle and actually dressed up as Jack Traven for Halloween.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And I have two versions, both the catching the bus one with the jacket, and then the under the bus one with the SWAT vest. The only time in the last 15 years I've worn a white shirt.
Oh man.
All right, how about you? What was your first experience watching this movie?
All right, so check this out. My first experience, and this is like with a lot of movies that I have watched, and some that you've already reviewed, and some that we've reviewed together, was a little thing that would come on around 5, maybe 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Channel 43 if you had Comcast or Time Warner. It was called FX, and they always had a block where they would show a movie and go through the behind the scenes of certain scenes, such as the bus jump, such as the elevator scene that we will be talking about, such as Keanu Reeves almost dying under the bus, or the fight between him and Dennis Hopper at the end. Spoilers alert, Dennis Hopper loses his head. But I watched Speed because of FX, and I always want, and it was always a censored version, so you would never hear an F-bomb. Either they would replace the F-bomb, or if you heard the SHIT word, they just blur it later on,
or silence it altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know, it's crazy watching 40-year-old virgin on television, and like that scene when like Paul Rudd is in the balcony with that Indian dude. They're like, you.
See,
they just silence it altogether. You.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna be very straight with you. I have never watched 40-Year-Old Virgin on cable television. Why? Because we all know cable television butchers things. Case in point, you ever watched Leon the Professional on Channel 5 on KTLA back in the early 2000s? I got time for this Mickey Mouse bull squash. Soak that in. Anyway,
I love how many different ways people redubbed the famous line from Die Hard, "Yippee-ki-yay!" Even there was even an episode of Goldberg's titled "Yippee-ki-yay, Melon Farmer."
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. Am I forgetting? Oh, and then if you watch Live Free or Die Hard, the TV version and the theatrical version, Yippee-ki-yay, Mother, and McClane shoots what's his face through the bullet hole he had to shoot him, and I'm like, this is stupid, but it's not as bad as the next movie. But that's how I was exposed to Speed, and this is actually during the time when I was binging The Matrix right before The Matrix Revolution came out. So I watched the first Matrix movie on TNT. My mom had The Matrix Reloaded on DVD, and then The Matrix Revolution had dropped on DVD as well. So I was going through an entire Keanu Reeves binge. And then at the tender age of 10, maybe 11, I watched like 5 minutes of Devil's Advocate and didn't understand what the fuck was going on until I was a teenager.
Yeah, I'm glad we watched Devil's Advocate together. And I don't mean just review it together. I mean, we literally watched the movie together.
Yeah, I love that movie. I think at one point we do need to review it on here. So for the uninitiated, Mike and I have reviewed several of Keanu Reeves movies.
We literally had a Keanu month, And one of those movies, Keanu wasn't even the main character.
2 of the movies, Keanu Reeves wasn't even the main character. That was a Dangerous Liaison.
It's Liaison's Dangerous
Parenthood.
and Parenthood. But the thing is, in Parenthood, he's more actively involved in the plot. But like in the Dangerous Liaison, like he only has like 2 scenes in the entire movie, and in the latter of the 2 scenes, he's sword fighting John Malkovich. In my defense, by the way, shout out to John Malkovich. I met him; he's a cool dude.
Lucky.
When I would typically like change the channel to HBO Stars or whatever other premium channel you'd have on a free demo weekend, if that movie comes up, I'm watching the movie towards the end, just like maybe 10 minutes before Malkovich has that sword fight with Keanu. So of course I am thinking maybe Malkovich is the villain, Keanu is the hero. Some beef happened, and Keanu needs to defeat him at the end. But hey, we all love seeing Glenn Close get canceled several hundred years before cancel culture was a thing on Twitter. But what I love about Parenthood specifically is this dude right here saying, Mike, I don't want to do no family sitcoms. Like, I never vibe with that. There's no way this movie would ever get anything more than a 7. And then while we're watching the movie, he's straight up crying an entire river. And I'm like, was that Leo? What'd you say about
Shut up. Okay,
family
no,
sitcoms?
In my defense, when we talked about Parenthood, this was around the time when we had this is right before we did Steve Martin month, and we never did a comedy.
That movie inspired Steve Martin month.
Yeah. And then we did some of the best Steve Martin movies ever. One of them being The Jerk, which I think we should totally review on here just to piss people off.
And another movie was During Rotten Scoundrels, which you can best believe is going to be mentioned a lot once we talk about the 2024 Crow movie.
Oh God. Anyways. All right, but no. Let's talk about this movie. And as we were getting everything up, I've been getting a lot of stuff. And let's talk about Keanu Reeves, a very young, ageless Keanu Reeves,
30-year-old Keanu,
30-year-old Keanu, and still looks like he's in his 30s. We don't need to go through his filmography. Y'all know who Keanu Reeves is. We've already named like 1,000 of his movies. Parenthood, all the Matrix movies, including Resurrection, the John Wick movies. Day the Earth Stood Still. What was that CGI movie that we watched with him and
Scanner Darkly.
That
was a great movie.
Devil's Advocate, Hardball, The Replacement. This man's done everything. He's a living
We never
legend.
reviewed Hardball. We should.
No, we haven't, and I'm not ready to do it. I'm not ready to do that movie. Unless you want to see me legit cry, I'm not ready to review that movie yet.
Well, I hope you're ready to call me Big Papa.
Show's over. You know what? Stop.
Okay,
Show's
no,
over.
no.
Show's
Yeah.
over. Show's over.
No,
Really?
No.
Anyways, Keanu, and then we have Sandra Bullock, like everyone's '90s crush.
Yeah,
with the bob hair.
Naturally, this was my first Sandra Bullock movie, as it is also my first Jeff Daniels movie and my first Dennis Hopper. Okay, let's be honest. Any of the actors that were in this movie, but not in The Mask, this is my first time seeing them, and yes, that includes Alan Ruck, the dude who plays Mac,
John Morton.
Yeah, that's pretty much all. Oh, the dude from Seven who drives the bus.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone's favorite character, Ortiz.
Oh yeah. Gigantor.
Hey, mi nombre es Ortiz.
No, not going there. I'm not going there. If you know the reference, people, I'm not good. I'm not about to explain it, but watch. What was that movie? What was the movie? Ortiz was in again.
I'm trying to remember. He was in
I gotta
several
look it up.
episodes of Star Trek, and one episode of Angel, and Steve Harvey, and he was in one episode of Parks and Recreation. Surprisingly,
Really?
yeah, which is actually interesting because there's another indigenous actor in that film who played Ken Wahote, the Native American chief from the show. He previously played not only the Indian from the Indian in the Cupboard, but also he provided the voice of the legendary John Redcorn.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But
Blood in, Blood out. That was where Ortiz was in. Blood in, Blood out.
Blood in, Blood out. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos Carrasco.
Mm-hmm. And then we had Alan Ruck from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That was the movie I first watched.
You see, outside of the movie Speed, I remember him more in Star Trek Generations, when like he's like the new captain of the Enterprise right before they kill off Kirk.
Oh yeah. Now, see, for me, it was either for my first Alan Ruck movie was either Ferris Bueller or Twister.
Mm.
And then for Sandra Bullock, my first movie was Demolition Man. Mm-hmm. And then for Dennis Hopper, you're gonna hate me if I say this.
Let me guess. Kiss the Book?
No. Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, that's no problem. Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. You know what's a Dennis Hopper movie you should watch? And by Dennis Hopper, I mean a movie that Dennis Hopper happens to be in.
What?
Pickup Artist, starring Robert Downey Jr.
I have that's on my list. That's on my list. I had just watched True Romance. By recently, I mean during COVID. I never watched the movie until lockdown. And I loved his scene with Christopher Walken, but I digress. Let's get started with the movie because we're gonna be here for a while.
Hey, you know what? You know what's a movie I forgot Alan Ruck was in?
What?
Cheaper by the Dozen with Steve Martin.
Yes, he was. He was the dad, the new neighbor dad.
Yeah,
who liked the 12 kids, unlike his wife. His wife is.
I hate the wife in that movie.
He was a chill one. Every Karen in the world, and I'm not talking about Karen Ashley because Karen Ashley's cool, but with every Karen in the world, there is the husband of a Karen that's actually chill and will put his wife in check.
Yeah, like in School of Rock, Sarah Silverman was a Karen, but her husband was unfortunately too chill. But then he learns to unchill thanks to the help of Dewey. Okay, I'm done. Okay, Dennis Hopper. Oh man, but yeah, no, my favorite Dennis Hopper movie outside of Speed was definitely Pickup Artist, where he plays a drunkard. Sounds about right. Like it almost seems like almost every character Dennis Hopper plays, except for this movie, he plays someone who is either drunk or high,
or is in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen whatever movie he was in where
Apocalypse Now.
Wait, he was in Apocalypse Now?
Yeah.
Damn.
I
need to rewatch that movie. Damn,
really
I need to All right.
I watched the director's cut, and the director's cut is so long.
Okay. Now, one thing that's really important to mention about, like, behind the scenes, that's important to mention about this film is it was a very difficult film for Keanu to shoot because when they were shooting it back in 1993, Keanu experienced a personal tragedy that kind of interrupted the production of the making of this film. And that was the tragic death of the real-life brother of his fictional brother-in-law, River Phoenix, who previously played the young Indiana Jones. Yeah. Sadly, River Phoenix died outside of the Viper Room, which I used to work next to. And like River was his best friend. So like when he found out that River died, like he actually had to take some time off, and production was temporarily halted because like he needed to grieve. And but what I do appreciate is that Jans was the one that gave him the grace to like to do it, because usually like in Hollywood everything is on a time crunch, so it's like, so if there's a family tragedy, you don't often have the time to grieve or even have enough time to grieve. But good on you, Jans. You actually gave Keanu like the grace to like take whatever amount of time he needed. And like that's one of my favorite things about like the behind the scenes. But some of the other behind the scenes stuff I can't wait to discuss. We'll get into it later.
So the movie begins with a bomb strapped to an elevator. And the next thing you see when LAPD is called.
Oh, man. I love the way that car
America so hard.
America! Bleep, yeah! Keanu's gonna save the bloody freaking day, yeah!
Okay, quick question. Are we gonna go through this movie piece by piece, or are we just gonna be just jumping all around? Because we can talk about
a little bit of both. Like we could go briefly into it, like in the elevator, because like the elevator scene was a MacGuffin that would lead to the main plot of the movie. So the original heist was the antagonist, Howard Payne, played by Dennis Hopper. He was a former police bomb squad member in Miami who lost one of his fingers. He was let go. He didn't get any pension beyond like a gold watch. And like, so he wanted to make a nest egg by holding a bunch of people hostage in a downtown LA office building, unless he gets a sum of $3 million in non-sequential bills unmarked. And yeah, so LAPD gets right on it. We get our awesome SWAT guys, Jack Traven, played by Keanu Reeves, and Harry Temple, played by Jeff Daniels, who was also in Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey. And of course, this is the scene in the movie that taught me how to chew food properly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because being the impressionable 3-year-old that I was, I would want to do everything the way Jack does it. He chews his gum with his mouth closed, so I chew my gum with my mouth closed. So if anyone's having issues with habitual open mouth chewing, y'all need to watch Speed like 12 times in a row. I'm not naming any names. Certain people.
You are. So they figure out how to save the hostages because they realize that Payne's was gonna blow the elevator anyway.
Yeah.
They go grab a hook to a crane, strap it to the elevator. When Payne blows the detonators below,
early, 3 minutes early.
Mm-hmm. The police are able to get all the hostages out on time as it's slowly descending. And then and I've watched this movie at least 20 times since the first time I've watched it. And
108.
Fine. There's one part that I always thought, and I'm like, okay, homegirl didn't get her ankles, her leg, her foot sliced off, but you see a nice little cut. Not deep cut, but it's like a little.
Yeah.
And then she's like, where's my shoe? I saw that finally, because I'm like, there's no way she didn't leave that elevator unscathed, and she got a little prick. So I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
They find a freight elevator.
She definitely did better than that one umbrella employee.
No. She did way better than Homegirl and Deep Blue Sea. We'll talk about Deep Blue Sea at some point.
I still can't believe there's a third one.
We don't.
Still can't believe there's a second one.
We don't talk about that unless Ryan tells us we need to do the trilogy. There's only one movie, and that's LL Cool J, who does the soundtrack. Anyways, they find the freight elevator.
Yeah,
pain.
because that gives him the right distance to be able to radio the detonator. And we have this really cool shootout like at the top of the elevator where it's like he's just like randomly like punching holes with a shotgun until it's like they drop, or they both have to like drop right in before that thing is about to like slice them from above, and like he grabs Harry by the nostrils, which is a great homage to a certain French film. And it's like, oh, and I love how like earlier when you were like trying to winch the elevator, they talk about shooting the hostage, like in a hypothetical scenario. So once they get to the hallway, it's like Harry's like, shoot the hostage. It's like you bastard. He's like, Of course he didn't actually say you bastard. I'm just trying to like keep it clean right here. He's like, it's like, man, you're stupid. You're supposed to shoot the bad guy, not your own man. And so like he runs off, and you see an explosion. They get concussed, and it cuts to an awards ceremony. And boy, do I love this bar sequence.
and to Jack for shooting Harry,
which we all wanted to do for a long time.
Dog, you know this that when you get married, that's gonna be the first thing I say to you when we do the toast.
Yeah,
I want you to know that. So we also have some foreshadowing because they're talking about like how they got lucky that they survived. Keanu being the hot shot, hot shot young cop's like, no, we won. We got the bad guy. And Harry's like, listen, I'm not going to always be here to save your ass. Okay, you can't
be brash. You can't be brash and impulsive. We got lucky this time.
Symbolism. But Harry,
no pun intended.
Staggering.
Keanu's.
Yeah, I'm going to go home.
And one thing I want to briefly mention, this is one of the rare few movies where two severely minor characters have the same name. Because one of the people that was trapped in the elevator was named Bob. By the way, he's played by the actor who plays the author in Once Upon a Time. I don't care for that show. I just know that he played the author in that show. And he also was like one of the case study people from the opening scene from Idiocracy. Yeah. So his name was Bob because it's like he pushed the button and then the elevator shuts down. It's like, geez, Bob, what did you do? Here's the thing. There's another character named Bob who's a bus driver who meets Keanu at a coffee shop. And it's like, hey, Jack, did you have a good night? Well, clearly your night was better than mine. I didn't get laid. And then as Bob goes back to his bus and drives off, Keanu hears an explosion, and turns out Bob's bus was rigged to explode.
Yeah.
Poor Bob.
That hurt.
Yeah, it did, because like you could tell that like while we don't know anything about Bob, in the 30 seconds of footage we had of him, you could tell that he and Jack had really good rapport. Maybe they visit the same coffee shop at the same time very frequently. Jack was probably at the christening of Bob's kids, for all I know. But you could tell they have that level of rapport just from those 30 seconds. Props to the actor.
Also, you gotta keep in mind it's the 90s. This is around time where we didn't need too much detail about minor characters. Yeah. We didn't need this is before Wikipedia, where you'll have like 1,000 words telling you every single tiny minor Star Wars character and their entire background.
Yeah. And also this is before people would obnoxiously exposition things we don't really care about knowing. Like we could say, the relationship between Jack and Bob was very unimportant, but you could still infer it without needing. Yeah. But of course, Jack hears a phone call from a pager, and who's on the other line? Howard Payne. He's still alive.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Jack. Did you enjoy that award ceremony? I hope you got laid. 'Cause I sure didn't.
When I find you.
I'll hold your horses, Jack. Pop quiz, hot shots. Here we go, the famous line. A Venice bus is rigged with a speed bomb. When it goes above 50 miles per hour, it will blow. Sorry, it will be armed. If it goes under 50 miles per hour, it will blow. What do you do, Jack? What do you do? First, I want to know what bus I need to catch. Good. It's the 2525. It's going to take the 105 to LAX. I hope you can catch it because it's rush hour.
Bro, so you know what's funny? You want to know what's funny?
Yeah.
That bus, without giving too much detail, I know exactly where that bus is. It's not too far from where I live. The bus stop going to downtown LA. Because here's the thing: that bus is not going to LAX. It's going to downtown LA.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the 33, the 33 will be off of closest street I can think of is Fairfax and Venice. It will take you all the way going east. Will take you all the way down to downtown LA. Yep. See, people for our East Coast and Central Coast viewers, we're native Californians. Okay.
Yes, insert SNL skit.
Yes.
The Californians.
Yeah.
Trey. Yeah, guys, it's me, Trey.
So Jack tried to catch. I think was it the one? No, the 105. Was it the 105 or the? Because I'm trying to think.
Okay, so here's the trick. Okay, so here's the tricky thing. Okay, so you know how like part of the plot is that the bus is going down the 110 south and then merges to the 105 west. So that shoulder was actually filmed 90 degrees clockwise from there. So in the making of that scene, the bus was actually going from the 105. No, sorry, from the 105 west to the 110 north, not from the 110 south to the 105 west. So it's literally just a 90-degree anachronism, just 90 degrees off.
What's funny is when like the part where Annie runs over that stroller and she thought it was a baby, it was just a bunch of cans because the lady was recycling. I know where that street is. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's off of Wilshire. It was
oh no, there's a lot of cool principal shots that took place on Wilshire, and I recognize those buildings too.
Yeah, and on Pico as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Again, Californians, people. So
watching Speed for the 20th or 108th time.
Combined 100th time.
Yeah, no, 108 by myself.
Oh,
108 by myself. I am Speed lightened.
I think I've watched Speed more as an adult with you compared to when I watched it as a teenager and a college student. And this is right before COVID too.
Yeah. No, like I can't wait for a certain someone to be old enough to watch it with us.
You know what's funny? He watched it with me. I had to cover his eyes on certain parts, like when Dennis Hopper stabbed Homeboy in the ear.
Yeah. So let the record show Jonathan saw the movie for the first time at an age.
From name at that? Like,
sorry,
Baby J. I don't need someone.
So Baby J. Okay, Chada. The second. Chada the second saw the movie at an age slightly younger than yours truly has. Verily a record to behold.
Anyways, so first things first. The first person that gets killed in this movie is Homegirl from Child's Play 2, the teacher that Chucky whips to death with the freaking yardstick. Or if you watch Donnie Darko, the Karen that's trying to talk Donnie Darko's mama into having her daughter get on the plane with all the other girls blah, 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 blah. She dies first because she couldn't wait. She's like, wait, you're like this place.
Wait, before
Like,
we get
he's
into
the
that,
driver.
let's talk about one of our most favorite characters.
Oh,
Maurice!
man, like, you are not, like, this car was not stolen. It is now. Get in the next scene.
Yeah, because at first Jack tries to catch the bus with with his own Jeep, but then he couldn't he couldn't catch up to it. So he commandeers Maurice's car. And the thing is, I don't think we ever hear his name being dropped in this movie, but in a certain other movie where he plays the same character, that same character is affirmatively named Maurice. And if you actually look at the Wikipedia, yeah, his name actually is Maurice.
Go on Speed Wiki.
Yeah, sad that Speed doesn't have its own Wikia.
Right?
Glenn Plummer, who's 63 right now. His birthday was 2 weeks ago.
We love Glenn Plummer.
Yeah, he was in Colors. He was in South Central as OG Bobby Johnson.
Very good movie. Very good movie.
Yeah, he was in Things I Do in Denver When You're Dead. Destiny of Marty Fine. Substitute 2, School's Out.
Mm-hmm.
MacArthur Park.
Yes, we get to after Keanu tells, after Jack tells Harry that the bomber's back. Because again, we don't know who this guy is until later on, but he tries to get the bus to stop. He's trying to get the bus to the bus alert on what's going on.
At first he wants it to stop before it reaches 50, but then it reaches 50 because no one be listening.
No one be listening. It was too late.
No one be listening. So he commandeers Maurice's Jaguar.
Are you insured?
Yeah, I'm insured. It's like I'm gonna need to borrow your phone. Take the phone. Yeah, so at least the bus driver knows now that there's a bomb on the bus. The rest of the passengers don't. And I understand why he didn't warn the passengers, because inciting panic could cause problems, i.e. Helen. Okay, so let's talk about the people on the bus. Okay, so we got Annie, who has a very interesting relationship with a bus driver. I believe his name was Alan, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And of course, she's also friends with another passenger, Helen, who's an elderly woman who has vehicle anxiety, and which is ironic because the reason why Annie is on the bus is because her driver's license was suspended. And some of the other passengers include what would eventually be a millennial in their 20s, just 20 years outside of his time. A construction worker, Ortiz, who's our favorite character, and of course a tourist played by Alan Ruck. Doug. Yeah. And I love that scene with the bubble gum. It's like I need to get away from this dude. Everyone hates Doug. So he gets on the bus and he's like, guy, everyone, LAPD, we have ourselves a situation, and due to a little bit of haste, a certain dude pulls out a gun. It's like, I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to jail. It's like, easy there. And I love that Keanu tries to de-escalate. He tries to de-escalate. It's like, whatever you're here for, we're cool. I'm not gonna arrest you. Look, putting my badge away. But before, like, as he's about to put his gun down, you can see he's about to put his gun down. Ortiz freaking tackles the dude, starts grappling the arm off, and of course, shoots Alan in the back.
What the? No, you mean Sam?
Sam. I don't know why I was thinking Alan. I think I've been watching Jurassic Park 3 too many times.
Alan.
Hey, Alan.
So
Sam.
this is when Annie becomes the driver because Sam got shot.
Yeah, and of course, Jackie tries to do some quick first aid to help Sam, but the problem is it's like we can't slow down. No, we can't slow down. No, we have to slow down. He's about to die. No, the bus will explode. What?
You're like, hold up.
There's a bomb on the bus. If the bus goes under 50, it will blow. If anyone tries to get off, it will blow. And clearly, someone had a Walkman in their ears when he said that. And I'll get into it a bit later. But at least now everyone knows the situation. No one's allowed off the bus, or it will blow. And the funny thing about keeping a bus at 50 miles an hour? LA traffic.
This movie, in real time, if this happened today, that bus would have exploded at least in 20 different scenarios. Because for anyone who does not live in California, let me tell you something. As two guys who drive for a living because we have to go to our jobs, LA traffic at a certain time is unbearable. Now, I'm pretty sure when everything happened, it was around 7, maybe 8 o'clock. So it's rush hour is not hit just yet until 9 or 10. That's when traffic becomes a pain. So I will give the movie this because they already set the time and everything. That this is early. This is still early morning.
Yeah,
we can have some leeway. However,
for us to go up to 50, but then rush hour hits. Now you have to stay above it. See, if the bomb was armed after 10 a.m., the bomb wouldn't even be armed until 7 p.m. Let's be honest. I feel like a coward. You did not think this one through, did you? But no, he did, because that bus was armed.
I just didn't see that one, did ya?
You don't know how to represent the real OGs.
We're gonna review Street Fighter the movie at some point, people. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
All right. So now that everyone knows the situation, it's like, what do we do? Luckily, thanks to Maurice's phone, he's able to call Harry while he's still hungover. Harry's still hungover from last night. I appreciate that. So he's not at 100%. But now the gears had started going. He's like, he's alive. What? He's alive.
And then the part where they're trying to figure out where the bomb's under the bus, and Harry, great detail, is just knocking coffee back left and right.
Yeah.
No, that's decoy. Look underneath. What else do you see?
I see. It's a big wad. It's like F me. Gosh darn.
No, it's oh darn. Harry, there's enough C4 to detonate the planet. Love the exaggeration in 90s movies.
And he does notice a gold watch.
A gold watch? What?
Yeah, and it's like, and then out of nowhere, Chief Max shows up. It's like, Harry, the bomber's still alive, and he's holding a bus hostage with bombs. Where's Jack? Where do you think? I like to imagine that Deca Ranger, Tokuso Sentai Deca Ranger, actually made an homage to that because very often whenever there's a monster that's picking up a vehicle, like in a typical monster sequence, guess where the Pink Ranger is? Every goddamn time. Mm-hmm. Even in the crossover with Maji Ranger, she's on the bus.
I didn't even think of it like that. I got to rewatch Deca Ranger now. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and speaking of Power Rangers, like I had to say, one of my favorite asides. I like to play Cards Against Humanity. I collect the booster packs. And one of my favorite things to do, my favorite ritual when I get a new booster pack is I open the pack, pick out one random black card, one random white card, and then I read them together. So take the 90s pack, I pull a black card, pull a white card, flip them over. And what do they say? It's morphin' time! Mastodon! Pterodactyl! Triceratops! Saber-tooth tiger! A bus will explode if it goes under 90 miles per hour! Sorry, 50 miles per hour. My mind was just blown. It's like, what? What? Of all the coincidences.
We gotta keep going, Mike, because I love speed. We gotta keep going. So
Yeah, we gotta keep going.
They get, again, I alluded to this earlier. They got Sam off the bus, but Homegirl.
Grace period. Like, Howard's like, okay with one passenger.
Don't slip.
Yeah. But then it's like, but then Helen's like, they're not gonna save all of us? And freaking, and freaking Alan Ruck is like, of course they gotta save all of us. We pay their taxes. I'm like, you mother. That is an extremely Karen thing to say. You know, like how whenever there's a Karen at a park, calls the police on on some random family, and then of course the police officer, after assessing the situation, takes a family side instead of the Karen side. And of course, what does the Karen say? It's like, but I pay your taxes. I'm the boss. Yeah, but see, I paid my own taxes, so I'm paying myself. I'm an independent contractor. But of course, claustrophobic Helen tries to get on the bus. It's like she's like reaching out, and the police are trying to reach for her. But then, boom!
She
tumbles
got
underneath the bus.
She got a little charred on the way down.
Yeah, and then ran over.
So then, as everyone's grieving, Mac and homeboy with the mustache find out half of the ramp, because they're still on the 110. They didn't finish constructing a part of the.
But it's on the map. I guess they fell behind. Fired. Everyone's fired. And by the way, that is Stephen Lunsford's favorite line in the entire film. In the time I've known him, he's quoted that line at least 3 times. Fired! Everyone's fired!
God.
Even when we were filming that one film.
Oh yes, the award-winning
that movie where I by technicality won an award for. Yeah.
Yes. So They jumped the ramp. Matter of fact, I think I have it right here.
All right.
Yes.
All right. I love this part. So it actually took them. Yes. Okay. So let me break down this sequence for you. Okay. First of all, in order to film that entire shot, it took them 12 cameras rigged at various parts of both sides of the gap. Now, in order to have the stunt driver actually make the jump, he needed to go at extremely high speed from a really far distance prior to the gap with a high enough ramp, and he's rigged to a 360-degree harness that keeps him completely suspended mid-air at the driver's seat. Because if his back is touching the driver's seat, he's a goner. Unfortunately, on their first take, they failed to nail the jump. The bus was completely destroyed. They thankfully the driver survived. But what's interesting is that at the time they did not report the destruction of the bus because they're reaching the end of their budget. So they actually stole a second bus from the lot. Funny enough. And they pulled it up on the second shot, but one of the 12 cameras was destroyed on the impact on the other side.
Yep.
And goddamn, I love breaking down that sequence because, again, as a kid, this was my favorite sequence. I recreated it using my own toys. So naturally, if there's one stunt sequence in all film history that I need to know everything about, it's that sequence. And I bloody love it. Now you guys know. It took 2 buses, a 360-degree harness, and 12 cameras, one of which was destroyed.
Yeah, I've seen you. I have seen how much your face drops whenever we watch that scene, and it's kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, here, explain the next scene. Let me go check on the baby. Hold up, be right back.
All right, so here's the toughie. Here's the real tough part. So sooner or later, Harry and several other officers do figure out who the bomber is. It was a former member of the bomb squad in the Miami Police Department, and they nail him. It's Howard Payne. So four of the officers, they try to tactically break into Howard's house and try, like completely covert, stealthy. They're fanning out the entire place, but then Harry hears a beeping against one on the other side of one of the decorations inside the house. Now, fun fact: Jeff Daniels did not even know about the beeping. Like they wanted to really capture his surprise in that scene, and I remember watching a video clip that Leo sent me, in fact, of like what kind of facial expression he's supposed to make in that scene, and it's like, and like the look on his face was just obscenely priceless. And of course, that beep was a bomb. Whole house explodes. Harry's gone. Harry's gone. Our boy Harry, the brains, while Jack is the brawn, Harry's the brain. Half of the dream team is gone. Shaq was deported to the Miami Heat. Harry's gone. And of course, Jack doesn't know this yet. He gets a phone call from Maurice's phone. It's like, Harry, please tell me you got good news. Oh, sorry, Jack. Harry couldn't make it. It's the watch that tipped him off, wasn't it? That bastard. Let me tell you something. Out of all the movies Dennis Hopper was in, this scene right here is probably the reason why this movie had him give his best performance of his career. And it really hurts because, you know, between Mario Bros and Wicked Prayer, it's like, yeah, Dennis has a very checkered career. May he rest in peace in terms of his performance. Oh yeah, and also there's Dungeons and Dragons, which I still haven't watched yet. But this scene right here is why Howard Payne is his best performance. This line right here. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack. Harry couldn't make it. It was the watch that tipped him off, wasn't it? Of course, Jack, he goes ballistic. He's just skimming all over the bus, getting riled up, and of course, Annie is like desperately trying to calm him down because like he is severely emotionally compromised, and this is actually one of the most emotional scenes for me because one, I like to inference that raw emotion that he expressed in that scene. I like to imagine that he channeled that from his real life pain of losing River. because like he lost because the actor lost his best friend in real life. The character lost his best friend in the film. Like that parallel right there. And in both cases, that loss was completely out of his control. What was like really primordial about the scene is what does his outrage mean for everyone else on the bus? Because in this dire situation, everyone needs to stay calm. If you panic, if you riot, you're gonna make mistakes. Mistakes that could put yourself, everyone else in danger. The only reason why everyone else was calm up to that point was because Jack was calm up to that point. If Jack loses it, everyone loses it. So I have to give props to Sandra Bullock in her performance as Annie to try to calm him down, because she recognizes this. She recognizes that if Jack loses it, everyone loses it. And even she is starting to like feel like the panic just from being right next to him. So but of course Jack starts to realize Howard knows what's happening inside the bus. Doesn't know if he can hear everything, but he knows that he can at least see things because he mentions calling her a Wildcat because on her skirt she has the Wildcats logo from her college. Yep. Now, thankfully, by this point, they managed to get the bus into an airport where media helicopters could follow them, and no airplanes could get around them. So they could keep circling the runway until they figure out how to either disarm the bomb or get everyone else off the bus without causing it to blow. So one of the strategies they came up with, and it's a really impressive strategy, is but before they do that, he does try to talk to Howard into letting him try to disarm it. Don't do anything stupid, Jack. So of course he gets off the bus, puts on a SWAT vest, and tries to like luge himself under the bus in order to disarm it. He's struggling. There's a bunch of dummies there, and he fails.
Dies.
He almost dies because of a pipe or something. Like there's like a bump, and of course, like he loses the luge. The luge gets destroyed by the back wheel, so he has to take a screwdriver and jam it into the fuel tank just to keep himself from getting flattened. And like thankfully, Ortiz is able to use the rear hatch in order to like pull him out. And of course, Ortiz says one of the dirtiest lines of the entire film. He's like, "That's gross, Ortiz.
You got big headache cojones, man."
It's like, "That's gross."
That's gross, Ortiz. I want this part. I want to do this part. This. So, as someone who's a film editor, I love this part. So they figured out where the signal is coming from in the bus. They cut the live feed. And they record about a minute because that's all they can get right now. A minute of footage from the bus. Everyone
has to stay completely still for 60 seconds. And of course, you were thinking this is working. Howard is like watching the footage, and incidentally, there's this tiny little bit of the film that Howard happens to turn his head away from at just the right moment for him to not notice the footage. And of course, there's a football game playing at the same time. So of course, he's just all right. Yeah, all right. Oh, by the way, interactive TV, way in the future. Okay. Of course. So they managed to get a fuel truck, a fuel bus in order to get all the passengers across. And of course, they use a ramp to get everyone across. Alan Ruck almost dies, but they managed to get him across. So that just leaves Jack and Annie left on the bus. Of course, Howard still doesn't know that everyone else is gone. So they try to they MacGyver themselves a way out by like using the rear hatch as a luge ramp in order to escape. Mm-hmm. And we have this beautiful sequence, and that goes into my next favorite stunt sequence. The bus has no driver. and the accelerator's jury rigged to stay running, and of course the fuel is running out, because once the fuel runs out, the bus is going to start slowing down. So the bus is just going rampant all over the freeway, and there just happens to be a Boeing jet in the area. And they actually bought an actual Boeing just to blow it up.
Mm-hmm. And the guy who was in that thing survived.
Yeah. And what happens is, and here's the thing about that Boeing. It cost a huge chunk of the entire budget of the film, which means that crescendo of a scene, they can only film it once. Once. If you mess up this one shot, studio's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Studio's gonna kill you.
Well, we watched enough Top Gun to realize that if you blow the budget on a scene and you don't do it correctly, they're gonna get pissed.
Because keep in mind, studio still doesn't know about that second bus. They still don't know about that second bus yet. So, they blow up that Boeing. Beautiful sequence. I felt bad for the plane, but it was done for a good cause. Giving us the greatest film of all time. We have this beautiful shot of all the passengers just watching that, like, just in shock and awe. Thankfully, they survived. Like, now it's a matter of just dealing with Howard. But unfortunately, by that point, he's like carefully analyzing the footage he doesn't even know that the bus blew up yet. And it's like he's watching the footage of the security camera, and like he notices that bag is on someone's lap, and then suddenly the bag disappears,
and then reappears,
No!
In honor of the late great Psycho Sid, aka Sid Justice, aka Sid Vicious, Goldberg. I'm done.
Yeah, but also to that one lady, you couldn't stay still for 1 freaking minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. It's like
1 minute.
See,
and
this is why
be able to capture him without the subway scene happening.
See, here's the thing. You know, a kid on a Game Boy wouldn't make that mistake. He'd be too glued on his Game Boy.
People, get your kids a Game Boy. Oh wait, I forgot. Game Boys are no longer don't want to use Game Boy anymore.
I have 3 Game Boys.
I have a DS.
I have a DS, 2 3DSs, 3 Game Boy Advance SPs, and 1 Game Boy Advance regular.
I want to do this last part because I know how much you love this movie. This is my favorite part. So they went to go find this fool. Howard Payne still has his police uniform and is able to get Annie away from the scene because she's like, "Oh, you're an officer, okay?" Like, like, "Oh yeah, I know Jack. We know Jack very, very well." They find out that there is a hole underneath. There's a giant gaping hole underneath the post off, not post office. Well, I'm farting right now. My brain's farting. Post office mailbox drop off.
Yeah.
Jack drops down and is about to shoot Annie, not knowing it's Annie. And then when she turns around,
because he just sees the silhouette with a bomb vest.
Yeah, finds out it's Annie. He's like, "Oh shit." Howard comes out and is like, "What you gonna do? I know you like this girl. What you gonna do? You can't shoot her. You want to shoot her? You can, but how's the media gonna look at it, Jack?" They go through because this is downtown LA. So at this point, they're heading towards the Red Line train. They get inside the train. Jack gets on top of the train and is slowly crawling his way to the front. Howard shoots the freaking train driver and knows Jack is on top and about to look at the money. My money.
My beautiful money, you bastard! Yeah,
they get on the fight on top of the train.
And by the way, a fun real life thing about this scene is that the red line in Hollywood was not finished yet in real life. So
Yeah.
I love how well. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention about both the that I did not bring up when Jack was getting on the bus, when they jumped the gap, or when they did the explosion with the Boeing. There's no CGI in this film.
No.
And if there is, it'd be so minimal. Every explosion you see in this movie is practical effects. Even when Keanu jumped from the Jaguar to the bus, that was Keanu doing it. Like, he was doing most, if not all, of his own stunts.
Keanu Reeves don't need no stunt doubles.
Like, he is fully hands-on. And he is so humble about it that when they went on to film The Matrix, he used his own paycheck to buy motorcycles to everyone in the stunt crew, as well as pay for all of their medical bills out of his own pocket. Needless to say, when Ryan Gosling was in the movie The Fall Guy, you best believe I had to go see that film. That was, for me, of all people, that is mandatory viewing. And honestly, we really do need to review Fall Guy because that movie did come out this year. Yeah. So, man, goddamn, that was such a fantastic film. This is such a fantastic film. And yeah, and in addition to all the practical effects, I love how deeply accurate they try to portray Los Angeles in 1994, because they could have pretended that, the red line was already built. They could have just made the movie take place in the 80s. But they didn't. The movie took place in 1994, and they took every last minute detail to show that this was indeed 1994, with the freeway gaps, with the unfinished red line, and yes, all the explosions were real.
Goddamn right they were. So, the final fight. You can't beat me, Jack. I'm
smarter than you. Yeah, well, I'm taller.
So, all you short kings, remember, don't end up like Dennis Hopper. So, Keanu gets Annie, takes the bomb off, disarms it, is trying to radio the bus, because not bus, the train.
It's not that he disarms it, it's more like it became a dud.
Yeah.
Like, all the trauma that both Annie and the remote went through, it caused the bomb to be, like, unusable. Yeah. Thankfully.
And so Max trying to radio the red line to letting Jack know, yo, just like the bridge, it's apparently in LA, not everything was finished. Everyone took days off. The red line's not finished. You're going to be getting to the end of the line, and you need to get out of there. He's trying to tell Mac, what do I do? But Payne shot the radio. Tries to get
from earlier, yeah.
As he's talking to her, stops in complete sentence. She's like, what's going on? Look, we can get out. Let's go. And he's like, I don't have a key. Because Howard cuffed her to the pole. He's like, I don't have a key. Because
real police handcuffs have their own unique key for that specific handcuff. Keanu, even if Keanu had handcuffs of his own, the key to his own handcuffs won't match the key to the ones Annie's using.
And he doesn't have a gun, so you can't shoot the middle.
Yeah.
And she's telling him, yo, just go, get off the train, leave me. But it's 90 Sandra Bullock. We're not going to leave 90 Sandra Bullock. Okay?
No. 2018 Sandra Bullock, I'm on the fence. But 1994,
we still love Sandra Bullock. Don't say that. We love Sandra Bullock.
Oh no, because I'm just joking at the fact that I did not like Ocean's 8. So,
oh my god. Okay, we can pretend. Okay, Ocean's 8 isn't as bad as the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels remake that we have not seen yet together.
I've watched all 3 movies.
Okay, Ocean's 8 isn't terrible. It was just unnecessary. So Jack, because it's 90 Sandra Bullock, and I'm gonna try to do my bad Keanu Reeves impersonation because it's really easy. I'm gonna speed it up. Floors it, hugs Annie, and they manage to get out because the train goes through NoHo.
Yeah, it like goes through NoHo, like makes a hard right, and then from the sheer like inertia of like making that turn causes the train to just straight up leap into the air, crash to the concrete, landing them right outside of the Chinese theater on Hollywood Boulevard.
It did a barrel roll.
And stopping right in front of the train is a Starline Studios bus. And I'm like, Starline existed even back then? Those bastards. I hated those. I hate Starline.
Annie and Jack make it out alive. And this is the start of the relationship that is concluded with a kiss.
Most relationships don't based on trauma don't really last well. And we're gonna base ours off of sex.
Whatever you say, baby. Make out. And that is the first and last time we ever hear about their relationship until it's mentioned.
People like tourists are like taking photos of them. Keep that in mind.
Oh, damn right. Hey, you a tourist. You just came from New York to come to LA to one, try to become a movie star, two, check out how cheap apartments are, because back in the 90s, it was super cheap to live in LA.
Yeah, it was.
And dude, my apartment, 2-bedroom. You want how much it used to cost back in the early 2000s? $800.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I'm not, again, California issues. The movie's over. Jack and Annie walk off into the sunset.
No, they just make out.
Make out in the sunset.
Yeah, there we go. On the floor. And then Billy Idol starts playing in the background.
And that is the end of Speed. I'm just going, I mean, look, I know this is your movie, but real talk.
Damn straight. Billy Idol right here.
Real talk. Are there any negatives about this movie? I think we've talked a lot about the positives because we've been going on and on about how amazing this movie is. Are there really any negatives, Mike?
See, one of the reasons why I waited so long to review this movie, and believe me, we waited 5 years. We kept this movie in the back burner. Even when we did Keanu month, we agreed. No John Wick, no Matrix, no Speed. Because you know what score I would give this movie. And you know how strict my scoring system is on top of that. And one of the reasons why, the reason we didn't do this movie in Keanu month way back when was because doing this movie would be too easy. But also because I am desperately trying to find negatives about this movie. And I'm deeply struggling to find them. At worst, there's just a few lines that were just kind of cheesy. But the thing is, it's a cheesy 90s movie. Like, you can't really call that a fault, especially since the cheesy moments are some of the most memorable. Ortiz say, "You got some big head." Here he goes. Or when I would have to say, okay, I'm gonna be honest. The most terrible thing about this movie is literally just that one line that Alan Ruck says, "Of course they're gonna save us. They pay our taxes." That line is probably my least favorite in the entire film. And that's because one, Jack is our man. Okay, he's the guy, and you're talking smack about him. Oh, and also keep in mind how many movies did an LAPD officer or NYPD officer, in the case of a certain movie with Bruce Willis we're not going to talk about, did put their life on the line Heck, even in Rush Hour, freaking Chris Tucker was an LAPD officer who risked life and limb to fight the triad.
On American soil,
On Chinese soil, on French soil,
and Las Vegas soil.
Yeah. Yes. And he learned some Chinese soul food, some wushu. But yeah, no, it's like, so with that in mind.
No, Mushu. Come on now.
I can't think of anything bad right now. Believe me, I've spent the last 5 years trying. Is there anything bad you could say about this movie?
Dog, listen, let me tell you something. Even during my contrarian years as a teenager, I couldn't find anything wrong to say about this movie. College year, couldn't find anything. Post-college year, couldn't find anything. COVID year, couldn't find anything. Father era, still can't find anything. Real talk, I think the only thing I can say is that it's a ripoff of Die Hard. But that's not saying, and it's not a negative thing to say. The reason being is because you have to keep this in mind before we, because it's a 10 out of 10. I'm just gonna, before I get into why I love this movie, why I love the concept of this movie, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. What about you?
For me, it's like, see, like I know that there's a whole line of movies that are called Die Hard, but on a blank.
Oh, no. I'm gonna talk about that. I want to talk about that. Let me talk about that. I got that one. What's your score?
Okay. For me, it's a unanimous 10 out of 10. No question about it. Never a moment of doubt. This movie deserves more accolades than it got. It was featured on a lot of top 10 lists. Keep that in mind. It was on a lot of top 10 lists, especially in that year. It was top 10 in Dallas Observer, Seattle Post-Intelligencer, Milwaukee Journal, Staten Island Advice, Syracuse Herald American, Palm Beach Post, the Pantograph, the Munster Times, and like when you go into the accolades, just the accolades, like Best Stunt Ensemble at the Circuit Community Awards, Best Film Editing, Best Achievement in Sound. It was nominated for editing, sound effects. One honorable mentions. Academy Awards, nominated for Best Editing, one for Best Sound, one for Best Sound Effects Editing. And then the following year at the Cinema Editors Awards, nominated for Best Edited Feature Film. It won a BAFTA for Best Sound and Best Editing. It won the Blockbuster Entertainment Award for Favorite Actress, Sandra Bullock. BMI Film Awards, Mark Menacina. And then at the Golden Camera Awards, it won a Golden Screen. And then in the Jupiter Awards, Best International Actress, Sandra Bullock. Motion Picture Sound Editors Awards, it won an award there. It won in MTV Awards for Best Female Performance, Best On-Screen Duo, Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, Best Kiss, Most Desirable Female, Best Villain, Dennis Hopper, Best Action Sequence, the bus explosion. And then in the Nikki Sport...
Back when MTV's movie
V was about the music. Yeah. The Nikon Sports Film Awards, Best Foreign Film. And lastly, in the Saturn Awards in 1995, Best Actress, Sandra Bullock. And that's not talking about all the nominations it won. Needless to say, the accolades for this film is extensive. And rightfully so.
Quick. before we get to the comments, so I mentioned how it was a ripoff of Die Hard, but you got to keep this in mind. That's not a bad thing. There have been plenty of movies. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Die Hard formula is, it's you're put in a situation where a terrorist is about to is taking over X, Y, and Z, whether it's a bus, whether it's a plane, whether it's an entire building full of people, whether it's a school, whether it's a boat, whether it's a train, whether it's the freaking White House 2 times in a row, whether it's a movie with The Rock in it. Like, if you go on IMDb, if you type in Die Hard ripoffs, Speed 1 and Speed 2 hit 15 and 16 respectively. But other movies on this list, I'm not going to go into like word for word. Snakes on the Plane, White House Down, Passenger 57, Skyscraper, which is the movie I was talking about with The Rock. Home Alone, Olympus Has Fallen, Executive Decision, Air Force One, The Rock, Sudden Death, Con Air, Cliffhanger, Under Siege 1 and 2, and
Violent Night
1 and 2, Violent Night, Star Trek First Contact, Life, The Raid 2, 12 Rounds 1, 2, and 3, just to name a few. It's okay.
Even retroactively, John Carpenter's The Thing could be Die Hard in an
No.
Retroactively.
No, they're not in the same category. Don't do that. That's my favorite. That's one of my top.
Okay, what about the remake?
What movie? I had a fever dream that Ramona Flowers was in that movie, but that doesn't exist. Anyways.
The movie with the blind dude is also technically Die Hard. You know what the evil blind dude? Don't Breathe. That's the one.
See, here's the thing. He's not evil. They broke into his house.
Both of those things are true. He is evil, and they broke into his house. No. He is defending himself.
You should have left Stephen Lang alone. This man's blind. He ain't evil. He don't know any better.
Basement?
So why did you break into his house?
Did you not see what was in his basement?
Yes, I did. But here's the thing. That's his First Amendment, Second Amendment, every amendment rights. You mess around. What about the people
in that basement? What was their First and Second Amendment rights?
Hey, he's blind and pretty sure.
Bro, you're not seriously. Bro, you're not seriously.
The more you mess around, the more you're gonna find out. Let's get into these comments real quick before we get out of here. I gotta feed my son. I've been waiting years for Cabo to finally review this movie. And happy Keanu Day. What's up, XYZ? XYZ. FX used to have cool movies and shows. Now it's same boring sitcoms that I honestly can't tell apart. Okay, hold on. Wait. The Bear is a good movie. Oh, The Old Man is a good movie. Now we're talking like repeats of the same stuff from back then, like the King of the Hill. The King of the Hill reruns, 2.5 Men reruns.
I would say The Bear, like honestly, I think more people watch it on Hulu than they do on FX. But I see where he's coming from because like there's that one show with that one mom from Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Tell me you can't tell them show apart from that other sitcom with that one family that's on a road trip together.
Okay, wait. Always Sunny in Philadelphia is still a good show.
That we can agree on.
Yes. Let's see. I'm honestly impressed with the way you guys explain all the stunts in meticulous detail. See, listen, he's the person you should be impressed with. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this movie. I've studied it myself. This man's been doing extensive research since he's been to this country. All praise go to him. Now, if you want, I can break down LA Confidential. I could break down Tron Legacy stunts. Hell, I can break down...
yeah, no, like, don't get this guy started on Tron Legacy.
Give me any Jet Li movie from the 2000s, and I will break that down word for word.
Give me any Bruce Lee movie from the 70s.
Give me any of Scott Adkins movies. Okay,
actually, funny thing you mentioned Scott Adkins because because in our old podcast we did do Cruise Control because originally it was supposed to be sequel month, but then Scott Adkins kind of hijacked the rest of the month with the Boycott trilogy.
Not just that. No, you gotta keep this in mind. During sequel month, we also had Halloween H2O and Resurrection. And then it got bombarded with all the undisputed sequels. And then we ended with Cruise. Did we end with Cruise Control?
We started with Cruise Control.
It was Cruise Control, then Halloween.
Then Boycott trilogy, then Halloween.
No. It was. I gotta look on our SoundCloud. But if I remember correctly, it was Cruise Control, then Halloween Resurrection. No, Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection. Because keep in mind, we did Halloween Curse of Michael Myers months before. And we did with a D from Three Black Geeks. It shot Three Black Geeks. Crossover coming soon.
Hopefully, come on.
So then after the Halloween Resurrection, then was Undisputed 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, and ironically, Scott Adkins would later be in a sequel of a Keanu Reeves movie called John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is, in the entire 4-film series, only 3 actors in the entire film say Baba Yaga correctly. And Scott Adkins was one of them.
Mm-hmm. All right, and last one. Speed, the perfect film for the perfect podcast, and we appreciate it. Next time, the Cruise Control Defense Force makes its return.
I'm on a boat. Everybody look at me because I'm sailing on a boat.
Yes, people, the next review will be Speed 2 Cruise Control. And oh man, this is gonna be more fun than watching the debates. Mike, as always,
let's be honest. Anything's more fun than watching the actual debates.
Yes, but Mike, I'm honestly glad you told me about this yesterday, so I can do this. I made sure I cleared my schedule.
5 years in the making.
I made sure I cleared my schedule for today, and before I took my son to the park, we watched Speed while we were eating breakfast because mommy is not home; she's at work, so I get some leeway on what he can watch. Thank you. But where can the people find you, dog?
Well, just remember, if you enjoyed watching this review, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, ding the bell icon. Stay notified for our latest videos. It's awesome movies with Lackluster Sequels month, and yes, it's very clear as to how to define lackluster. So don't at me. Also check out we've also done the 4 Crow movies, the 4 Shrek movies, the 3 Naked Gun movies, Deadpool and Wolverine. We've done a bunch of movies from the 90s that you might not be as familiar with, but Kevin Duhaney wasn't one of them. And check out and speaking of Kevin Duhaney, check out our sister channel, the Morphin Network, where we discuss all things tokusatsu. Tomorrow we're doing Ultraman Arc episode 8. Wednesday, the very first episode of Kamen Rider Gavu. Thursday, Bakuage Sentai Boom Boomger. And on Friday, on Sunday, we're finishing off Kamen Rider 5 with its 20-year anniversary film, where we're going to spin the wheel to decide what season of Kamen Rider we're going to do next on that channel. But if you want to check out our also on that channel, we've done many interviews with various Power Rangers actors. So be sure to check out that channel. We already have 7 of them uploaded. Today we got Jack Guzman on there, and let me tell you, I love Jack. He was my favorite one-off character from Chuck. Season 3 was fantastic. And if you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. And Leo, where can the people find you?
You lovely people can find me on Twitter, Instagram, cutting up on the Reckless_Fox. Twitch.tv/RecklessFox. I'm still on the process of revamping it. And stay tuned because I am working on a new YouTube channel. I have two projects going right now. I have the wrestling podcast, the VNL Wrestling Podcast, every week. Where we review the newest episodes of Raw and talking about the PLEs that they already had. We're gonna be talking about Bash at Berlin hopefully this week, and we're gonna We're gonna be jump starting AEW again, and we're gonna be talking about All In as well. And I have a personal project I'm working on right now, so stay tuned on that.
All right. And with that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, update your emergency kits, hug your loved ones, and make sure that when you catch that bus, you're not too desperate to get on that bus because, you know, maybe Ubering might be a better choice. Just saying. Until next time.
Speed 3, Uber control.
Uber Lyft.
Guys, we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.